What if your body had already warned you about a heart attack, but the signs were so subtle that you didn't recognize them? Most people believe that a heart attack happens suddenly. They imagine a dramatic moment, severe chest pain, collapsing, an emergency. But in reality, many heart attacks begin long before that moment. Days, sometimes even weeks earlier. The body often sends warning signals, quiet ones, subtle ones, signals that are easy to ignore, misinterpret, or dismiss as something harmless. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Heart disease remains one of the leading causes of death worldwide. But here's something most people don't realize. Many of these cases could have been prevented if the early signs had been recognized. Today we're going to talk about 7 early warning signs of a heart attack that most people ignore. These are not the dramatic symptoms you see in movies. These are the real signals your body sends, the ones that often go unnoticed. And the last sign on this list is one that surprises almost everyone. Let's begin. One of the earliest and most commonly ignored signs is unusual fatigue. Not just feeling tired after a long day, but a kind of fatigue that feels different, persistent, unexplained. People often describe it as, "I feel drained, even when I haven't done much." Simple activities that used to feel easy, walking, climbing stairs, even getting dressed, suddenly require more effort. This happens because the heart is not pumping as efficiently as it should. When the heart struggles to circulate blood, the muscles and organs receive less oxygen. As a result, the body begins to feel weak. Low energy becomes constant. And because fatigue is so common in everyday life, people rarely see it as a warning sign. They blame age, stress, lack of sleep. But when fatigue appears suddenly and doesn't improve with rest, it may be something more. Another early sign is shortness of breath. This can happen even without physical exertion. Some people notice it while walking, others feel it while lying down, or even during simple daily activities. It may feel like you can't take a full breath, your chest feels tight, you get winded easily. This happens because the heart and lungs work closely together. When the heart struggles to pump blood effectively, fluid can begin to build up in the lungs. This makes breathing more difficult. And often people assume, "I'm just out of shape," or "I need to exercise more." But unexplained breathlessness, especially when it appears suddenly, should never be ignored. The third early warning sign is something many people experience, but rarely connect to the heart. Discomfort in the chest, not always pain. Sometimes it's just pressure, tightness, fullness, or a mild burning sensation. It may come and go. It may last a few minutes, then disappear. Some people describe it as, "It didn't hurt. It just felt strange." This is one of the most dangerous misconceptions, because people expect heart problems to be extremely painful. But early symptoms are often mild. The discomfort may appear during activity and disappear during rest, which makes it easy to ignore. But this pattern can indicate that the heart is not receiving enough oxygen-rich blood. Now, here's a sign that surprises many people: pain that spreads beyond the chest. Heart-related discomfort doesn't always stay in one place. It can radiate to the left arm, both arms, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, or even the back. Some people feel it as a dull ache. Others describe it as pressure or tightness, and in many cases, the chest doesn't hurt at all. Only the arm, only the jaw, only the back, which is why it gets misdiagnosed. People think, it's muscle strain, it's posture, it's a nerve. But when pain appears in these areas, especially together with other symptoms, it may be connected to the heart. Another early warning sign is dizziness or lightheadedness. This can feel like instability, weakness, or a sensation that you might faint. When the heart cannot pump enough blood to the brain, oxygen levels can drop. This affects balance and awareness. Some people notice sudden weakness, difficulty standing, blurred vision. Because dizziness can happen for many reasons, it's often ignored. But when it appears together with fatigue, breathlessness, or chest discomfort, it becomes much more significant. Now, here's a symptom that people almost never connect to the heart. Cold sweats, sudden sweating without physical activity, without heat, without stress. It can feel like clammy skin, sudden perspiration, or a cold, sticky feeling. This happens because the body reacts to stress inside the cardiovascular system. The nervous system becomes activated, and the body responds as if it's in danger. Some people describe it as, "I broke into a cold sweat for no reason." This is not a normal reaction. And when it happens unexpectedly, it can be an early warning sign of heart stress. One of the most overlooked symptoms is nausea or discomfort in the stomach. Many people think heart problems only affect the chest, but the body is interconnected. Some people experience nausea, indigestion, a feeling of fullness, or stomach discomfort, especially before a heart event. This is more common than people think, and it's often mistaken for food poisoning, acid reflux, or digestive issues. Because of this, people delay taking action, and that delay can be dangerous. At this point, you may notice something important. None of these symptoms seem dramatic on their own. That's exactly why they're dangerous, because they are easy to ignore, easy to explain away, easy to dismiss. But when several of these signs appear together, your body may be trying to tell you something serious. Now here's something very important. Most people don't experience just one of these symptoms. They experience several at the same time. And that's where the real danger begins, because each symptom alone feels harmless. But together, they create a pattern that often goes unnoticed. Imagine this. You feel unusually tired for a few days. You get slightly short of breath when walking. Maybe you feel a bit of pressure in your chest, and one night you wake up sweating. None of these symptoms seem severe. None of them feel like an emergency. So you ignore them. You tell yourself, it will pass. But this combination of symptoms is exactly what makes early heart warning signs so dangerous. Because the body is not sending one signal. It's sending multiple signals at once. And when these signals are ignored, the condition can silently progress. Here's another important detail that many people don't know. Heart attack symptoms are not always the same for everyone. In fact, they can vary significantly. Some people experience classic chest pain. Others experience almost no pain at all. Some people feel it in the chest. Others feel it in the back, the jaw, or the arms. And in many cases, especially in older adults, symptoms can be much more subtle. This is why heart problems are often missed. Because people are looking for the movie version of a heart attack. But real life doesn't look like that. In real life, it often looks like fatigue, discomfort, shortness of breath, mild pressure, things that don't feel urgent. Medica assume there's another pattern that often appears. Symptoms may come and go. They are not always constant. You might feel discomfort one day and feel completely normal the next. This creates a false sense of security. People think, if it was serious, it wouldn't go away. But that's not always true. Early heart-related symptoms can appear intermittently, especially when the heart is under stress during activity, and then ease during rest. This cycle can continue for days or even weeks, until eventually, something more serious happens. Another thing that makes early heart symptoms difficult to recognize is how easily they can be confused with other conditions. For example, chest discomfort can feel like acid reflux, fatigue can feel like stress, shortness of breath can feel like lack of fitness, nausea can feel like digestive problems. Because of this, many people delay taking action. They treat the symptom, but miss the cause. Now here's something critical. The body is extremely intelligent. It doesn't send signals randomly. When something is wrong internally, the body tries to communicate, but it doesn't speak in words. It speaks through sensations, through discomfort, through changes in how you feel. The challenge is learning to listen, because the earlier these signals are recognized, the greater the chance of preventing serious outcomes. Let's talk about timing. Many people assume heart attacks happen suddenly, but in many cases, the process builds over time. The arteries that supply blood to the heart can gradually become narrowed. Blood flow becomes restricted, and the heart begins working harder to compensate. At first, the body adapts, but over time the strain increases, and the warning signs begin to appear. Fatigue, breathlessness, discomfort. These are not random symptoms. They are part of a process. And here's something else that matters. Risk increases with age, especially after 50. The cardiovascular system changes over time. Blood vessels may become less flexible, circulation may become less efficient, and underlying conditions such as high blood pressure or elevated cholesterol may develop. Because of this, the same symptoms that might seem minor at a younger age can carry much more significance later in life. Now think about this. What if recognizing these early signs could give you days, weeks, or even months of warning? What if those signals were your body's way of giving you time? Time to pay attention, time to act, time to prevent something serious. And this is why awareness matters. Not fear, not panic. Awareness. Because the goal is not to create anxiety. The goal is to understand your body, to recognize when something feels different, when something doesn't feel right, when patterns begin to change. Here's a simple way to think about it. Ask yourself, do I feel more tired than usual? Am I getting short of breath more easily? Have I noticed unusual discomfort in my chest or upper body? Do I feel dizzy or weak without a clear reason? Have I experienced sudden sweating or nausea? If the answer to several of these questions is yes, it may be time to take a closer look. Now, let's be clear about something important. Not every symptom means something serious is happening, but ignoring patterns, ignoring changes, ignoring repeated signals, that's where risk increases. The heart is one of the most important organs in the body. It works continuously, every second, every minute, every day, and it depends on healthy blood flow to function properly. When that flow becomes restricted, the entire system is affected. The good news is this: the body often gives warnings. It doesn't jump straight to crisis. It gives signals, subtle ones, repeated ones, signals that give you a chance to respond. And this is where awareness becomes powerful. Because once you recognize these patterns, you begin to see your health differently. You stop ignoring small changes. You begin to pay attention, and that alone can make a significant difference. Now here's something I want you to remember. The most dangerous symptom is the one that gets ignored, not because it's severe, but because it seems harmless. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: your body is always communicating. The question is, are you listening? If you found this information helpful, stay with our channel. We regularly break down the warning signs your body may send before serious conditions develop, in a way that is simple, clear, and easy to understand. And in the next video, we will talk about another critical topic: the early signs your blood pressure may be too high, even if you feel completely normal. Make sure to stay with us so you don't miss it.